is the Geek Castle Podcast. I'm Brian, and
I'm Joe.
We are here because we are like-minded individuals that love a lot of different geek fandoms and wanted to at least have a place when we discuss it by ourselves. Maybe
gotta get it all out of our heads.
Yeah, just somehow. To have a place to kind of document it, put it, and hopefully some people will watch it. Until then, we're talking to the emptiness of the void of the internet. So hello, the void. But we just want to do a quick breakdown of who and what we are. So this is the Geek Castle Podcast. We have a YouTube and Spotify channel of the Geek Castle. Our magical gateway to all aspects of Geek Kingdom fandom. Every week we're hoping to at least do one episode or at least a stream or something like that to kind of dive into the latest theme park updates, theme park news, events, movies, television releases, trailers, gaming announcements, and just breakdowns in general of all things geek fandom.
All the kinds of stuff we love talking about.
Yeah.
To nobody. Now we're talking to 3 people?
Maybe 3.
Your mom? Maybe?
all serving here, hopefully to be kind of exciting, humorous, and always chaotic fan, true to our heart content. Whether you're here for parks, movies, games, or just pure geeking out enjoyment, we have something for you. Hopefully, we're going to kind of lean into the theming of the Geek Castle, so you are coming into the castle here on our first episode ever. Expect a lot of energetic discussions, fun theories, honest reactions.
Castle.
Thank you.
This is Brian's basement.
Sorry,
my gaming room is not as cool as this. So
this is our little setup of fun.
We're stuck here forever.
Yeah, in this little box of screens. And maybe we'll have a guest appearance or 2 from people if this actually kicks off. That'd be kind of fun. So grab your Mickey ears or your butterbeer, power up your controllers, and take a seat on a throne with us, because here at the Geek Castle, everyone is royalty. So, with that said, let's kick off our first episode.
All right. He's put me in charge of this, and I'm not sure if I'm the person. But, so we're going to chunk all of our content into 6 main categories. So hopefully this will keep us on track. Keyword being hopefully.
We're definitely going to derail.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you should go out to dinner with us. We'll spend 6 hours. I think we went out to Outback the other week, and Brian spent an hour talking to us about football. And I looked down, and he hadn't taken one bite of a steak, and he just had to take the whole thing home.
Yep. It was a very good conversation, well enough to not eat great food. So
we'll probably talk for a long time and just keep it very casual and starve to death while we're doing it. So we are going to have each episode kind of go with the 6 main categories I was saying. So opening news, rundown, response to comments.
Please comment. If we have comments, we have more things to talk about than just our thoughts.
Yeah, you don't want to hear us drone on for hours about this stuff. Input. Where can they comment on TikTok? We'll have an email soon.
Yeah, we'll have an email. They'll be able to comment on TikTok. I don't know if Spotify has comments or not. We just made Spotify today. So
yes,
we're on this interesting journey across everything. So we'll be on Spotify and YouTube for sure. So for those of you who are seeing us on TikTok and YouTube, hello. And those of you listening to us on Spotify, at least you don't get to see us, but you're missing out on the really cool background. So there's some winnings on both ends.
And our beautiful faces.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll also try to keep podcasters in mind, because I don't know about Brian, but I'm old and I don't watch videos. I just listen to podcasts like an old person. So I love it when they're talking about stuff and they don't actually ever describe it. So we'll try to keep that in mind for you. I will especially try to keep that in mind. We'll have a main spotlight, like our main feature that we'll be going over every single week. And then we'll move on to our main categories, which are parks and themed events, movies, streaming, entertainment, TV, that kind of stuff. Then we'll have our gaming corner, and then we'll just say goodbye for the week. And we'll also have nights where we're probably going to stream, just straight stream, right?
Yep, straight streaming some gaming content, or maybe we'll do a movie or a show or something.
Yeah, we'll probably watch trailers live. Maybe, if they happen to coincide with when we're recording. But I know Brian has said that he wants to introduce me to games I've never played before, and I want to introduce him to games he's never played before. So we will be educating ourselves, and you can all tell us how awesome you think it is or how dumb it is that we haven't played, that I have never played Halo For example,
we're going to talk about that later in the episode.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the outline for every week for our show. Okay. So a little bit of background. Want to let you know where we come from, where our expertise come from. We don't really have any expertise, to be honest.
Zero.
We like playing games. We like movies. We like comic books, that kind of stuff, in case you couldn't tell. So just a little background, though. My background is I actually used to work at Walt Disney World. I was there for about a combined 10 years. I did multiple roles across multiple locations. I worked in all 4 of the major parks, so I do have some insight there. And then I'm also an esports program director for some local schools where we're at. I run esports for kids in high school, and I help them get scholarships and stuff. So I've kind of had my hand in the gaming industry. I've kind of had my hand in the theme park industry, and hopefully I'll have some good input from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different areas of the world to pull from.
I think so, yeah.
And especially focusing on some of the park content movies. The Disney stuff will do well, and then the gaming stuff obviously speaks for itself.
Speaking of theme parks, it looks like we're like riding a roller coaster, actually.
Yeah. For those of you on the podcast, we're sitting on kitchen table chairs because we didn't know what else to put on. So
we wanted to get thrones because we're the gaming castle, but we didn't think we were there yet.
Yeah, so we're not there yet. Well, I'm Brian. I have about 13 years of teaching experience now. I've been a teacher for a long time. I've taught a lot of different subject areas, but mostly in high school, but it's been a lot of into the science and engineering and aspects of things, as well as computer technology and creation.
Which is the only reason we have any idea what we're doing right now is because of this guy.
So we've been able to kind of use what I've been able to learn the last couple of years from the computer tech side of things to finally get everything up and running, which is not as hard as you would think for those of you who have thought about doing a podcast. You just got to get out there and try it. I mean, if this falls on deaf ears, then it does, but either way, him and I were probably still going to have these conversations. Yeah. So best case scenario, we'll be able to play it back and make fun of ourselves.
The only difference is we're recording these conversations.
Yes, it's official. We're locking down predictions for the future here. I've also been a manager for a pool company for, almost 15 years, almost over half my life. I've been 15, 18 years into the pool industry. So it's been a long time in my professional career, but it's also kind of helped me kind of figure out some of the branches of fandom, and I've met a lot of different people, and it helps with the people-to-people skills. Been a Disney fan all my life, annual pass holder. Love pretty much everything theme parks and movies.
Ironically, the whole pool thing for you is kind of where we intersect a little bit, because my last job at Disney was managing a bunch of pools in the recreation department at the All-Star Resorts. So you might not think managing a pool feeds into what we're doing, but it might.
It all connects somehow.
Yeah.
It's all
It actually might.
Yeah. So I've had an ambition to do podcasts and streaming for probably since before COVID. In 2019, when
everyone was thinking of podcasting and
streaming. But it was one of those things I just either never had time, never had like the thought of like how to do the technology, and luckily I was able to meet Joe earlier this year, and we started talking about it, and now we are here with our first episode. So I'm very excited.
Conversation at Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah. So I'm very, very thankful, very excited. Hopefully you guys get to enjoy this, and that's just a little bit about us.
And we do want you guys to enjoy it. So please, like, one of the most fun things I would love to do that I've never been able to do with the podcast is take comments and feedback and like read it live on air and do like a mailbag or whatever. So please, when we get all that info out there, write in, comment. We want to encourage that a lot. We want to interact with you guys, because the coolest thing about being a nerd is talking about nerdy things to other nerdy people. And sometimes we have to find each other. So hopefully this will work as a jumping off point for that.
Yeah, I one of my favorite things to do is just talk about hypotheticals, both like when we're talking about either expansions at the Disney company, games, movies, shows. Theory crafting is a big part of like fandom and communities. So the more comments, the more theories, the better. We can kind of branch and feed off those types of things. It's one of the things that actually kind of led me to developing some of the classes that me and your wife have created.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've created a Walt Disney Imagineering class where the kids develop kind of like their own land plot designs. We've done,
which is awesome. by the way.
We've done some other breakdowns of like miniature model making for roller coasters and learning the physics of those things as well. So
you had an Imagineer come out, right? Like recently.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun, exciting, different experiences that I feel puts me a little bit further above just the normal crazy fan, but also a little bit more of a deeper insight to how the company and stuff works. So, and then on the side of it, my last thing I'll say is personally, I'm a huge collector. I love going to like Comic-Cons, fan expos.
No.
Yes. I collect plethora of autographs behind us. I think I have over 75 autographs total throughout my area, and I have a very large Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel collection.
Guys, you're not even seeing half of it. Like, what? We'll do a tour one day, maybe.
There'll
but
be
like,
a video.
I mean, there is
tour of the studio.
All of this is all over the place, and it's very impressive. I'm honestly quite jealous, especially of his Lego collection.
Thank you.
Which he doesn't even enjoy putting together. It's so weird. He buys all these Legos and then has other people put them together for him.
Yep.
But, that's okay.
It's
I
enjoy the art of Lego, not the building together frustrations of trying to remove two pieces that you
Oh my gosh. We love that. So maybe he'll let us put one together one day.
So with that, I think that is our main news area, and we will move on to the next segment here, which is going to be our parks and themed events. So I have a big news story that broke this week that Disney has filed a permit for site preparation, including the installation of construction trailers behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, signaling the start of the Beyond Big Thunder expansion. As well as that, this is also being known as Project K. And throughout the course of this, they've actually filed more permits this last week with the piping and kind of like water guidelines. So for those of you who aren't crazy Blueprint fans or anything like that, did you move?
Are we gonna?
Yeah, let's move one more over.
I'm telling you, you should not.
No, yeah, this is good. This is good. So for those of you,
are they going to see this?
Yeah. So if you are watching on YouTube or TikTok, you can see this now. If not, I will do my best job to describe this on Spotify for you. So there is a piping blueprint guideline that has to be submitted with the oversight district now due to Disney no longer having its own rights to the land. They have to now apply through the tourism district, which allows us to get some earlier insights to earlier surprises and things like that. So at D23,
you must hate that.
Yeah. So at D23 2 years ago, they announced the Villains Land and Cars Land expansion coming to both Frontierland and the expansion behind kind of Big Thunder Mountain and Haunted Mansion. And with this, we're kind of getting our first evidence besides it's just the ground breakdowns, but the building placements. So there's some in this permit that were already in place and where they've already been. The shocking thing was seeing some of the extra photos that have now kind of come into play with this. They've announced a new building, which is going to be almost right next to the queue of Haunted Mansion. It's a very small, but it's labeled facility. And there are people wanting to know what this building is going to be because it was not announced in any of the original concept art for it. And so I think it'd be kind of an interesting thing for us to deep dive into a what do we think is going to go there type scenario. But before we do that, I'll kind of give a detail of the other spots.
Okay.
So the Radiator Springs Racers, if you're looking at the photo, is on the most southern part of the map. It's the larger, it's going to be their e-ticket attraction. That's going to be what they're assuming is the new trackless car ride vehicle.
So that's like what they have at California Adventure, basically, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to be the same ride. This one you're riding through Piston Peak, so it's going to take place, ironically, from the Cars adjacent movie. It was called Planes. Piston Peak actually takes place in Planes. But it's supposed to help kind of weave into this theme of the American frontier, and they're going more national parks vibe with it. And with this,
awesome.
This is supposed to hopefully be the new e-ticket attraction that's going to be both indoor, outdoor, and it's supposed to be kind of like an all-terrain vehicle that you're exploring the frontier.
Okay. For those of you who don't know this, like, Cars is an absolute merchandising juggernaut, and Disney knows that. It's really weird because I would feel like you got it.
Yeah. I can't reach my water.
I feel like when Cars came out, There was 3 movies, right? Like, I don't feel like any of them were all that popular, but kids just latched onto that merchandise, and it's probably the highest merchandise that's sold in the parks, I would have to say, even though it's in a limited number of locations, but this is going to just explode.
And it's one of those things, too, that there's been a lot of controversy between the fandom of, losing the Tom Sawyer Island and
It's such a bummer.
losing the kinetic energy of the water.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of me, and this is where some fans, first episode, people are already not going to like me.
Don't cancel Brian yet.
Yeah.
It'll just be me, and it will be boring.
Yeah. Although that's Joe's plan.
Yeah,
it's in the notes. It's
Wait
in
until
the
the end.
The Tom Sawyer Island is something like I never really visited that often. I feel like I would do it maybe once every 6 years. It's almost equivalent to how often I would go to Universal in comparison to Disney when I would go down to the Florida parks as of late. But for me, it was more so I enjoyed the water aspect of it. And with the land and with the water that they're showing, I'm hoping it's not just like a little small river of like a trickle, and that it's more of like an actual moving river that goes in towards Tiana's Bayou. But I do think with the losing of Tom Sawyer to gain the amount of rides we're about to gain, and this being the largest expansion, it's going to expand the entire Magic Kingdom park by over a third. So it's becoming a third larger park, at least, in its own space rights. And then with everything else, with what we're looking on the map, it's going to be at least 4 rides.
So is this Cars and Villains Land that we're looking at?
Yes. So where the red line is on the map, which is right between Big Thunder all the way through to the queue.
Oh, this is filling in the water.
Yeah, so you can see the gray overlay.
I'm just seeing that now.
Yeah. So the gray overlay I have on top of this photo here actually shows the breakdown. So the facility one at the bottom is the big E-ticket, and then the facility that's closer to the red line but still below it is going to be the other unknown announced Cars ride. There's a lot of people thinking it's going to be like a tractor spinner.
Okay.
But Disney's been very tight-lipped on what that's actually going to become or be. And it's kind of interesting because they're starting to lay the groundwork, and it still hasn't been announced as a ride yet.
I wonder what you can see in the park, if you can see any walls going up. Pardon my pixie dust, kind of walls.
Yeah. So I've been there.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah. You cannot see in the entire area wrapped around from where the wooden rails are, all the way around to Big Thunder is closed. And
how'd you do that?
I did the thumbs up emoji. Up? Yeah, so that was funny.
Cool.
But
so are they? So how many rides are?
So there's going to be 1 big E-ticket, 1 family ride for Cars Land, and then they're talking 1 big E-ticket, 1 family ride for Villains Land. So a full total of 4 new rides with the loss of Tom Sawyer. But then on top of that, there's going to be more shops, and I think there's going to be 2 added restaurants.
Okay, well, that's already better than. I mean, if the rides are good, that's already better than the Fantasyland expansion. That was we were there during the Fantasyland expansion. I worked there, and everyone was so excited about it. And they opened it up, and it was kind of like, "Where's all the rides?" Like, you had the minecart ride and the Little Mermaid. And the coolest thing about the Little Mermaid ride is that on Mickey's birthday, a little silhouette comes through the queue because the sun hits it just right. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they can do better, because me and Brian maybe disagree on this a little bit. But I feel like Universal ride-wise is eating Disney's lunch lately completely. So I don't know if you agree on that or not. But.
Yeah, I just for me, I think if what they showed in the concept is that if the Villains Land gets a full-scale roller coaster themed to a Maleficent dragon and get a full high-speed coaster,
that's cool.
Because I would say Disney has a lot of fun themed coasters, but everything I think either tops out at 60 or lower. And it doesn't really have that ultimate thrill-seeking coaster where Universal has a lot of those. But I think that's where also Universal kind of falls short, is their rides are all these high-speed thrill rides or simulators, and they don't have any of the in-betweens. So I really do think that if you get a full-scale roller coaster and another one that's a dark ride, I think it'd be really cool.
Well, it's always been Disney's operandi, I think, has been from Walt himself, is that he wants to create rides that parents and little children can ride together all the time. But with something like Universal so close and doing the extreme rides as their like kind of main thing, I mean, it's not their main thing. They still have like Omni movers and stuff like that. Like at what's the Monsters ride?
Metropolis?
No, at the new Epic.
Oh, Monsters Unchained?
Yeah, Monsters Unchained.
Yeah.
Like, they have the slow rides and stuff, and the simpler but cool coasters like the Wolf Man roller coaster that turns while you're on it, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same build, I think, as the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewrite.
Which is the first time I saw that was in Disneyland Paris when we could still get in for free, which was awesome. Disneyland Paris has a ride outside. It's actually interior exterior ride called Crush's Coaster.
Yeah.
First time I ever experienced that, and I was like, man, this has got to be in the U.S. And it took them 10 or 15 years to bring it over in Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was really, really happy to see that. But you're right. They've got the Dumbo. I mean, even Space Mountain only goes 25 miles an hour at its peak, which doesn't seem like that because you're in the dark. But and its biggest drop is like 20 feet. So it has the illusion of being more extreme, but I would like them to see them actually make a extreme. But it does bring in
like the
little
Maleficent coaster. I almost wanted to compete with like the Incredible Hulk or like the or like the Raptors ride at Universal, just so that Disney has one of those at the Magic Kingdom.
I could never see them going that extreme though. Like that would be a true departure from.
I think because like for me, like the closest thing we have right now to like a quick or fast or intense coaster for me is the Aerosmith at Hollywood, which is being transferred over to the Muppets.
Muppets, right?
But I think that's like the one where you sit there and think like, if you think of a high speed, fast roller coaster, I think of that one, and then I feel like I don't think of it as like a thrill, but Space Mountain's almost like one of those like scary things. Like, am I going to hit my head? Am I going to dodge? Am I turning here? Like it's deprivation of the other senses that causes a thrill versus the ride itself being the thrill.
I was talking to Faith about the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster, and I just found out when we were talking about it that they're going to turn in Muppets, and I would have loved them to just kept everything exactly the same, and it's just. Instead of Aerosmith, it's all like Muppets in the video. Like, what's the band? The Muppets band?
The
Electric Mayhem. It's just all Electric Mayhem instead. Like, same lines and everything. It's just all Muppets.
So the last couple things I wanted to talk about in this picture diagram breakdown really was the train, which the Magic Kingdom train has been a kind of a staple both of the park, but has been in the news a lot with the different construction issues with Tron. And they are building a facility right over the train track again.
This is the train track.
Yeah,
right?
So if you follow that to the top northern section there, there's two facilities that are going to go through the train track here. So I'm wondering, that big one, since Maleficent's castle and Thorns were all in the back, I wonder if you're almost going to go through the Thorns and hear the dragon. And it would be almost like you either driving through that and escape, and that can actually be part of the story, because it would add a lot to the train section in that area. Or it could be that's actually where you add a extra get-off point to people that don't want to walk all the way back.
I think they need to. I think that needs to be part of the train, because it's already frustrating that you have to go from Big Thunder and the next stop is, what is it, Toontown? Or not Toontown. What is it now? I don't remember what it is. But like it's
Big Thunder just ends. Like there's you have to literally turn around and walk back. And what I like about the Big Thunder to this transformation is that it's going to create a full circle. So you can go from Big Thunder to Haunted Mansion now versus having to rewalk all the way back around to Rivers of America.
I mean, if they do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is all speculation.
Well, yeah, but I think that is the plan, because if you look at where the new pipes are for the facility, they're putting something in right next to where Big Thunder is.
Tell them the pipe thing that you told me. I didn't know that.
So the pipe tracks, they actually usually mimic right where the pathways are.
Which is the green on the picture if you're seeing it.
So the pipes actually mimic where they usually put pathways, because it's the easiest access point for the maintenance crews to be able to access the piping and electrical and all that. So normally where you look at the green is where you can see a lot of the where future paths will be. And so by looking at this, we can kind of see that there's going to be a full circle round area for around Cars Land, kind of filling in the front section of where the original first Tom Sawyer Island was. And where the second island was is where a lot of the villains' land is going. But what I find so interesting is that they decided not to block off the back with the facility buildings. They left it open, which I think if you know anything about the back side of It's a Small World, there's a lot of land back there. There's one water reservoir, which is where they actually have the emergency water for the fireworks displays at night. So I'm wondering if at some point they're planning on expanding this all the way through back over to like the toy store or the toy circus area and Fantasyland over by Gaston's bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And
is it still Toontown?
No, it's like Toontown like circus now. It's not it's no longer Mickey and Minnie's like houses. It's more so
Faith used to work there, so she would know. But
it
was Toontown when she worked there.
Yeah,
right?
It's no longer Toontown. It's like that's where Dumbo moved, and like it's like a whole circus theme.
Okay.
So they could kind of like wrap that into this whole extra fantasy area. And I think that's like a plan because, Disney normally doesn't put things at a dead end. They like being able to have you circulate the park.
Yeah.
And right now, Villains Land adds a really nice extra extension, but you're just now moving where the Big Thunder ended and you had to turn around to now adding it to dead ends at Villains.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
But, I mean, we're already looking at construction that's, all the way probably out till 2032 or 2035. So
we're lucky.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff.
We've heard that
going here.
Imagineering's taken their sweet time lately. So,
although I will say they went vertical fast on the Animal Kingdom one, which we can talk about in a later episode. But I was just curious, like, what do you guys think as far as like the rides that might be going in here? Maleficent Coaster sounds cool. Are we looking for like a full on like a Disney villains team up dark ride, or do you guys want more individual like stories for these villains, or how do you want to interact with them? Like those would be some good things to put in the comments, just for us to, get some ideas. But I just wanted to talk about it because it is a rather exciting news. The Magic Kingdom doesn't get many expansions that often, and this is the largest one that they've ever done.
They're so landlocked.
Yeah. So it's such a...
Which I'm curious about here, because like over here, can they see my mouse circling?
No.
Okay, if you look at the top left-hand corner of this picture, like there's a major road that you can see. That's the road that I believe I took home, because we lived behind the Magic Kingdom once we lived there, and this road goes around the entirety of the Magic Kingdom on both sides.
So that area over there is going to be the back facilities area.
Yeah.
My assumption is where the river is, where they're running the new pipe, that's going to be all the new water workings for what I'm assuming is either going to be the Hades or Ursula Underworld water ride.
Oh, okay. Well, this road, I think it's called Perimeter Way or something like that. I don't remember what it's called, but like, if you keep going this way, and there's cast parking in Disney University back here where everyone goes through traditions training and stuff, but this road, either on this side or the other side, is the road that we would always take to get home, and they already shut down this road on nights they have, like, perimeter fireworks. So, like, for Halloween or New Year's Eve, they don't just have the fireworks in front of the castle, they have it around the entire park. So, which is, if you've never seen before, is one of my favorite things to see there. So I'm really curious how this is going to work, if they're going to build like a road to go around, because they've got a building sitting right on top of that road basically here. So, or I mean, there's walkways. Those are where I'm assuming those are.
Yeah, that's going to definitely need to be new backstage stuff too.
Yeah,
because if that's Big Thunder, I'm wondering, is that the new train car facility that they've been putting in for maintenance for the trains? I mean, we don't know what that is.
This is also the cast security entrance that gets you to the tunnel here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they might even have to move that a little bit or size it down or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
Who knows? But yeah, it's just one of the very exciting things I thought. But the next thing I wanted to move to besides this expansion was actually just this one small facility building that is, you moved the next one. No, keep going.
Pass this?
Yep, one more. So we have a 5,000 square foot area being built. So I wanted to theory craft with you. So right next to the Haunted Mansion, they're building a 5,000 square foot space. It's a very small square. And I wanted your best case, middle case, and low case scenarios for what this ride looks like.
Next to the Haunted Mansion?
Yeah. So it's the...
I'm a visual. I got it.
If you hit the arrow.
Arrow?
Yeah. No, other one.
Whoops.
One more. That one. 5,800. That small little square at the bottom there.
That's okay. So that's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
This is
so literally this is facing right next to the queue, as of yesterday, they put up all the scaffolding, and the construction has started in this space.
It's got to be like a quick service.
So
something, right?
So I'm thinking there's been rumors for years that there was going to be a Haunted Mansion themed restaurant.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I would love a full-scale Haunted Mansion themed restaurant. Do I think a 5,800 square foot space is enough? Now, I do not know this exactly, but I'm going off the top of my head here. When they built Beak and Barrel, that was a very small parlor bar that was replaced with the wannabe a pirate. That was like the boy version of
Bibbidi
Bobbidi
Bobbidi
Boutique.
Yeah.
And with this, I was thinking, there's been a large rise in interest of both a financial gain for Disney for making these really themed bars. And I'm also thinking as well, there's also been fantastic reviews of the Haunted Mansion parlor bar in the Disney cruise ship.
Doesn't Magic Kingdom just open up a bar that everyone's loving right now?
Yeah,
that's
the Beak and Barrel.
Okay,
yeah.
right.
So I had
Which is so funny because they used to never even allow alcohol in the parks.
Yeah. So it's funny. You can't leave the restaurant with the alcohol at Magic Kingdom, but you can drink it in there. And they had a 2-drink limit rule, and it's been an absolute blast. I've been able to go twice with my family, and it's been fantastic.
They need to start mixing alcohol with Dole Whip. Yeah. That would be an amazing idea and horrible for their cleanup, probably.
But it was a really fun time. It was really sought after. So I think Disney saw that the wait list is 2.5 months out for Beak and Barrel.
So you think it could be a Haunted Mansion?
I think it's a Haunted Mansion bar. I think that's the safest thing. I mean, worst case scenario, it's going to be a bathroom. But I mean,
a Haunted Mansion bathroom?
A Haunted Mansion themed bathroom.
So you're washing your hands and you look in the mirror. And
I'm thinking
ghosts appear. I'm
thinking Universal, Moaning Myrtle, except instead you're going to have great grinning ghosts singing in the bathroom.
Oh, that's great. That's exactly what I need when I'm sitting on a toilet.
Yeah, but I think if we had to pick, I'm definitely thinking this is the Haunted Mansion parlor bar coming to Magic Kingdom Parks.
Maybe it's both, Brian.
Oh my God!
Maybe we're getting a bar
and a bathroom
and a haunted bathroom.
That's what we need. Now, the one I'm finding really confusing though is the building space that's next to this. It's a 15,800 square foot rectangle. It was on that last page.
No, I just wanted to see.
But it's literally butt up against the Big Thunder Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So the sight lines for competing against this thing, they have to be able, because Disney has to be able to preserve the sight lines. So they have to build a blocker from when you're coming down Tiana's and when you're riding in the open ride space of Big Thunder. How are you going to block this thing? And what are you putting in that's in such a weird, long-shaped building?
They haven't been as, I'm thinking with Guardians, like the Guardians ride, they tried, but they haven't been as extreme about their sightlines as they were back in the 80s or whatever. But I would hope so, because that's one of the biggest things I hate about Universal when I go there and I'm at the studios and I'm seeing the track that the Hogwarts Express goes.
Yeah.
And it looks nothing like the Hogwarts Express. It's like a New York subway train or something. But
I'm definitely a sightline snob.
Oh, I am too.
I will
go
say
away green.
Go away green. But I think the Guardians of the Galaxy big blue box building that they built, the painting that they did, I think really does help it on most days.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I'll be honest. There's been times I've taken a picture of the Epcot ball while I've been in Japan, and I forget that the building's there. So it's painting definitely has worked, but yeah, when you're walking in and seeing this huge blue box, sure, maybe in 20 years when all the palm trees on the outside have grown 15, 20 feet.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there's been a sightline issue, but I then think of Pandora. Right, you walk into the worlds of Pandora and Animal Kingdom, and there's not a sightline in there that throws you off, or even these other spaces that you end up walking into.
But you're also so low to the ground. There's trees everywhere.
So it's just such an interesting thing, because with the Piston Peaks, you're building a lot of the mountains and stuff. You're gonna have tall evergreen trees blocking the most of the sightlines. So you're really fighting for this area that's over by Big Thunder, because when you take those outside bends, what are you going to do?
But they also have the benefit of having 50 years worth of trees grown up that that they might not necessarily have to chop down. I mean, you got to imagine that they're gonna. Do you think they're gonna connect with a bridge here or something like that? The two areas. Or...
That water's all gone. They drained all of it.
Okay,
So it's just all one big plot of dirt. I'm thinking that area right there,
connects.
that's between those three buildings, is an expansion ride that's going to be later announced for Villains Land.
Okay.
Because we're past the red line right now.
Do you think
all these squares is Villains Land squares?
Do you think this is their answer to Monsters Land over at Epic, or they're gonna try to go for the same vibe? Because that place looks cool at night.
So I think it's definitely going to be I think there's always, since the early 2000s, there's been rumors of a Villains Land.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part for them is they have to get the story right for this. Right, every land Disney has tells like a story when you walk into it. For those of you who like the deeper lore of the parks, you can do it, and then for the rest of us, we just go for the theming.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that like when you walk in here, like, is this where all the villains are? Is this Maleficent and like Hades coming together to make a plan, or like are all the villains living in this space? Because I think that makes a huge difference on what you end up telling as a story.
Yeah.
The concept art they've shown some like bluish water, which could either be Ursula or Hades, which I would love, like an underworld. It's a small world.
Yeah.
Like you just go through and you
like
see all these
dark.
souls.
It's a small world.
Yeah. But I don't know what to expect back here yet, and they haven't. And all they've shown us is a couple of concept arts of what could be, but they haven't announced a single thing. So I'm marking it right now. Here's my first prediction of our podcast.
We're gonna come back here in 3 years to see if Brian's right.
Well, you only have to wait that long.
Pull this
August in D23.
Oh, do you think they're gonna?
I think they're going to announce a full layout scale of this land.
This far out?
Yeah. Well, because at this point they have all the land cleared. Like all of this is just big brown patches of dirt. They already have started concrete pours for the Cars land. Mm-hmm. So like they have to start knowing what's going in these buildings.
Oh, I'm sure they.
So I think we're going to get some more solid announcements of at least like a roller coaster, a trackless dark ride. Because I think like a Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway with you like trying to be escaping from all the different villains would be cool.
Yeah.
But and also Magic Kingdom doesn't have that large trackless dark ride. Mm-hmm. That would also be a nice little like people eater with having so many people being able to go in.
I would also love to see them come up with something new ride design wise. Like I feel like the last big ride design thing has been the trackless, and before that it was using the Kuka arm to transport people like over at Harry Potter and stuff. So,
and they're using the Kuka arm for the new Iron Man ride coming to Disneyland.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's the new experimental ride vehicle that they're making for the Avengers Infinity Defense in land. Maybe that gets transferred and they could just theme another one to villains. Because I do think villains is so popular. I mean, they've been testing the waters with the Hollywood studios aspects of things.
Is it more popular for the kids or for the
adults? I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you get to see Scar, Gaston, Maleficent, but my thing is, do you just dump all the villains into this area? Mm-hmm. Do you make it a select few? Because you could almost do little villain expansions in different parts of like other parks. That would make sense for their characters.
They could theme it to the seasons too.
Yeah, because Magic Kingdom is the fantasy. So like maybe the fantasy villains live here, but like you could have Scar live in an Animal Kingdom and do an elephant graveyard. I think that'd be sweet.
That would be sweet. Yeah.
So like you could almost start to do these like villain expansions in every park and have like your villains spread out and kind of do with what Universal's doing with Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. They're putting Harry Potter in every park because Harry Potter's so popular.
Theaters are walking around.
Yeah. And I think this place will be crazy during Halloween.
Oh yeah. This will be probably the focal point of their not so scary Halloween party.
Yeah.
So we always used to combine it. We lose track of whatever the names of all the holiday parties were, so we just call it Mickey's Very Merry Not So Scary Halloween Christmas Party.
That's funny. So add any comments and stuff below.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think we'll end our parks and themes segment there. Moving on to movies, streaming, and TV.
Ooh.
So main focal points for our movies and TV for this week is Knights of the Seven Kingdom.
Which I have not watched.
It's the continuously, ever-growing world of Game of Thrones on HBO.
But this is like supposed to be like more lighthearted, like
Yes. So this is
Game of Thrones version of a sitcom.
Yeah, my buddy explained this very well. He said, if you were a fan of Game of Thrones, as far as like the world and the stories, but you wanted to just follow one character's story versus 9, he goes, "This is the show for you."
That would be nice.
And so I've watched the first episode. I'm waiting to watch the other 2 with some friends next week. So we're gonna do like a full binge watch of all of them.
Is it any good?
I loved the first episode. I thought it was fantastic. Really? Yeah, the tone, everything seems pretty good. It's a little bit more lighthearted and jolly as of right now.
Okay.
But I was always a big fan of the movie A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
Faith was saying this weekend it looks like Game of Thrones Knight's Tale.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I think, is that this is a Game of Thrones meets Knight's Tale type situation, and I'm like here for it. The first episode kind of was like, oh, jousting's coming soon.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, like I need some.
And they're like shorter episodes too, like
30 to 40 minutes versus the full hour.
So not an hour and a half of dark, you can't see anything on the screen,
or ruining 10 years of character development.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, I mean, it looks fun. When Faith told me, it was like, you'll probably meet Faith at some point in time. She's as nerdy as all of us, and she's my wife and works with Brian very closely. But she was like, "Oh yeah, it's more lighthearted." And we were watching Big Bang Theory. I'm like, "Does it have like a laugh track or something?" Like, what is? I couldn't picture it, but that sounds interesting. I might check that out.
And then from what I'm hearing is the big sleeper pick of the week is Wonder Man, the greatest Disney Plus show that was never really marketed well.
I feel like Ironheart was marketed better than this, and that show just flopped.
Yeah. I feel like with Wonder Man, I had no interest in really watching it. I was like, oh, I'll watch it as it gets closer to Doomsday. But I have seen nothing but wonderful reviews about this show.
It's amazing.
And I've seen people complaining online that it's like, why take this show, give it no marketing, but apparently there's some interesting plot holes or plot developments and a couple of twists in there, which I still don't know. I haven't been spoiled yet, which is exciting.
I don't know anything about Wonder Man.
Yeah. And so the final thing for me is they released all 8 episodes at once. This wasn't like a once a week drip feeding us type scenario, which in past shows, whenever I have this theory, anytime Disney Plus releases either a 2-episode start or a full season at once, the show is horrible. They did it with Echo.
Really?
Yeah, they did it with Echo where they released it.
I heard Echo was good. Is it not good?
No, but what I'm saying is the first 2 episodes they had to release as a whole.
Yeah,
and then they released the entire season a week later.
Okay.
So as I was watching, I was like, oh, this is weird. But it's to me, it shows a lack of faith in your show to carry it from week to week.
Yeah.
Because as someone who is starting to dip their toe into the content creations thing, it'd be kind of cool to watch one episode on a Tuesday, record a video, theory crafting what we're doing or talking or breaking down an episode. When you just release the entire season and someone can binge watch it in 8 hours in a day or in 2 days' time, you're losing out on that community breakdown, that communication, and the theory crafting of just anything.
Yeah.
Now it's people are just talking about the show and whether it's good or bad, and
that was the Netflix model, right? Release it all at once.
Yeah,
and even Netflix now they're what they did with Stranger Things. So
because it buys subscriptions for an extra if you have an 8-episode thing, you have a subscription for 2.5 months.
If you space it out.
If you space it out the right.
Yeah, with Stranger Things they had 3 months basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I mean, to me it really doesn't matter because we don't ever. I think the only shows we've ever binged were honestly Stranger Things was the first, and I think it's been the only since that we've sat down and started at 6 p.m. and finished at 4 a.m. in the morning. And even the last season we broke it up between 2 or 3 different days, but that's as bingey as we ever get. But I know a lot of people will just sit there for hours on end, and I can't do that. I gotta play a game or I gotta get up and walk around or something. But yeah, I mean it's interesting. It's like they just sent it out to die, but
and it's doing well.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like nowadays it doesn't. If something's good and the word of mouth is good, I feel like word of mouth is king. And
especially in the world of streaming, it's not like this is in the movie theaters and you're
no. But even with movies, you can word of mouth is the best marketing I think that anything could have. And It's funny. I feel like that's why James Cameron, every time a new Avatar movie comes out, he's like, oh, if this one doesn't make $400 billion, we're not going to make another one. But yeah, they are. Like, like he would never let. We'll talk about Fire and Ash in a second. But he would never let Fire and Ash end the way it did if he didn't plan on there being another one. This is like his magnum opus, you know. So, but yeah, word of mouth is I think king, honestly. So
yeah, so that's our two main shows that we're going to start focusing on watching this week. We'll come back with some positive or negative reviews of these shows probably next week. Speaking of both positive and negative reviews, Joe wanted to talk about Starfleet Academy and why it should be defended.
Okay, well. I'm 2 episodes in. Now, something you should know about me is ever since I was a little kid, I'm not like a Trekkie by choice. My wife is big into Star Wars and Harry Potter. She got me into that. I got her into Trek and Marvel and all that stuff. So that's a good marriage. You're building each other up and making each other better. So Star Trek was something that I think I realized as my wife started watching more of it, how much I knew about it. Just through osmosis. Like, my dad would come home from work. He ran his own grocery store. He would come home from work at like 11 o'clock at night. I would stay up to watch TV with him. And this was back in the day when you had to order, depending on how young our audience is, they're not going to know what we're talking about. You had to order, like, through Time Life Video, the collection of Star Trek, the original series, on videotape. So he had a closet full of, like, just Star Trek, the original series videotapes. They must have taken up like real 4 shelves. So he was a big Trekkie. So sometimes that was my only time I got to spend with him, is when he was at home late at night, eating a salad on the couch watching Star Trek. And apparently I like sucked in a lot of Star Trek knowledge because my wife and some of our friends were sitting there watching a Star Trek show that I had already seen. And there was like an attack on the ship or something. And someone in the room said, "Oh, how is that possible? That would have to be like the strongest material ever. It has to be like titanium." And I'm over there just scrolling on my phone. I'm like, actually, it's titanium. They made it up in like the 23rd century or whatever. And I know it's not exact. Don't like fact check me on that, Trekkies. But like, I look up and everyone's just kind of looking at me like,
you just said so casually.
They're like, "No way." And Faye's like, "That's not true." And she like Googles it. She's like, "Holy crap." So apparently I had all this knowledge. So I've gotten back into Trek as I've gotten a little older. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Discovery. Flippin' loved Strange New Worlds. I feel like that's like the most classic Trek. Like, no extraneous stuff. It's just, here's the thing of the week. There is an overarching narrative, but it's not too extreme. Like, it deals with the Gorn. Like, that's like their overarching theme through the 3 seasons, and it's just awesome. They're gonna have an episode in season 4 that's all puppets. And like last season, they had like a musical episode, and they have like a scientific reason for all of it. It's hilarious. They have fun. But Discovery wasn't my favorite. Lower Decks is really funny if you get into that. But Starfleet Academy, I was like, okay, this is up in the world. What's this about? Holly Hunt, I think, is the main person in this. And her character, I just got done watching, I think, the 2nd or 3rd episode. Her character's pretty kooky. She's always walking around on her bare feet and laying around in the captain's chair, which is always really weird. But overall, it's basically Star Trek meets Hogwarts in space. Which, if you go into it with that thought, I know there's a lot of true Trekkies out there like, this is not my Star Trek, and that's fine. You'll find as we go on about TV and movies and stuff, it takes a lot to, like, at least with me, like, I go into movies, I turn off my brain. I don't sit there with a notepad and write down everything I think is inaccurate or I hate. So I'm not that analytical.
Yeah, normally I turn that off too, but then The Last Jedi,
Well, that ruined it for everybody. Which is sad, because I love Looper, and Rian Johnson makes some bangers, but that one was, okay. We're not going to get into that in the first episode. It's like talking about everyone that's died in our family recently in the first episode. That's too depressing. But Starfleet Academy is like Hogwarts in space, I think, and it's kind of fun. I did not know going into it. It takes place in the Discovery universe, further in the future than I think Star Trek's ever been. I thought it was like going back to the roots of like when Starfleet Academy first started, but I was wrong about that. But I think it's worth a shot. I'm watching it. By the end of the first season, I might come back on here and be like, "This sucks. Don't watch it." But I thought it was okay. I thought the first episode especially was pretty good.
Nice. So, and then with the little Easter egg drop there of Hogwarts and Harry Potter, in the news this week was that Avatar: Fire and Ash finally has surpassed Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows as a top 20 grossing film of all time.
What's the number?
It's at like 1.382 billion.
Okay, because everyone was freaking out like in the first 2 weeks that it wasn't at 2 billion yet, like the other ones.
So I've seen some movements online where people are like, "Oh, if every fan that wants another movie goes and sees it, they could get it to 1.5 bill." I don't know if it really matters at this point. I mean, rumors were that it needed $1 billion to break even. So if you've made $382 million in profit on a film, sure, it's not the greatest profitability, but like this is a major part of Disney parks.
Yeah, I was going to say you've got a park.
Yeah, and like
to it. Yeah,
but I will say, as far as a fan of the films, I am ready to move on from the Jake Sully storyline. Been a huge fan of the video games that have come out for Avatar Pandora, both with Frontiers, which just got a huge major update to third-person mode, which...
More on that to come.
Yeah, more to come.
That might be our first streaming. I've never played it.
Yeah, so. But I think, like, when I played that game, I think about the fact that I'm in the same world as Jake Sully, and I'm dealing with the repercussions of the film, but I'm seeing the story from actual other characters from that world.
And it's still interesting.
And, yeah, that world is just awesome to be in. Yeah. Like, the world that he has created is a lot of fun to be in. I don't necessarily think it needs to stick with the Sully family to be successful. And with the amount of reviews online saying that everything feels really repetitive between the battles and fight sequences between 1, 2, and 3, I think it's kind of like a time to either kind of reset and move forward with the new characters you've developed in this like third movie. If it is the final film, then he did say he would do the plot points of the other stuff with
a book or whatever. Yeah.
I don't think
it's gonna happen.
No, I think we're gonna get at least another movie. I think they're just dangling the carrot or Twinkie, whatever you're interested in eating.
Go see it or else.
Yeah, go see it just because they were afraid that it was gonna completely flop.
Yeah, Disney's kissing Cameron's butt since they bought 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a world in which there's not at least one more Avatar movie, because if you take its budget, which I know is not for sure, but it's estimated it was like $450 million or whatever, and then you double that for marketing, you're still making out.
Yeah.
You're still making out pretty good at 1.8. What did you say? 1.8 billion?
1.382.
Yeah, so 1.3. Okay, that's a little different, but still, I mean that's.
But it's got it's
got its own land. It's enough for them to continue, or at least give them an end.
And it's got an expansion plot, and they're building another land in Disneyland themed to the second and third movie. So I think this still has legs. I think the world is rich enough to tell a lot of stories. I mean, they just came out with the new expansion that coincided with the current movie with Out of the Ashes of in the Frontiers storyline, and that's been doing rather well as far as like receiving the fan feedback. So I do think you're telling these other stories. I also think like I would love just like a Disney Plus show of like like almost like even if you did like a Star Wars.
How expensive that would be?
Well, I would say just do a Star Wars: The Clone Wars type animation style, and give me like episodes of like in Pandora. Yeah, I don't know what you would do like Na'vi Flight School. Do like a Top Gun with like the Banshees. I think like there's just a lot of fun things I think you could do.
Flight School.
Yeah, I think there's like some things you could do that would be kind of like a fun in the world experience for people that want more Avatar.
Tom Cruise could voice one of the avatars.
Yeah,
they could throw in the run.
Just watch out for anyone that's called Goose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, do we want to tell them like what our first streaming thing?
I mean, move into gaming and just go straight into that.
Yeah, that's a good segue.
Yeah, look at this. We're it's like we've like planned this all out, even though we haven't.
It's like the most generic white Google slide, but it's funny because it's actually projecting light on us.
Yeah,
which is nice. So, what we're gonna do as part of our streaming, we're planning on doing for our streaming as part of the podcast, is like I'm going to force Brian to play games that I think are fun that he hasn't played yet, and he's going to force me to play games that he thinks is fun, or even more so that tie into what we're talking about in other areas. So Disney calls that synergy. Frontiers of Pandora is like a Far Cry type game from Ubisoft, who's going through some major restructuring right now, in case you haven't heard about that. It's not great for all the people there. You know, anybody who's losing their job, we sympathize with you. I'm sorry.
Yes.
But they have come out with a Far Cry type game, Frontiers of Pandora, that I have not played. I do like the Far Cry games. So we're talking about going back and streaming us playing it.
Me, a veteran player, playing on a new Player Plus experience.
Cooperatively.
And him playing for the first time ever. Because I think it'd be kind of interesting. I played the entire game, I think it was 2 years ago when the game released, and it was a first-person only experience. But all the cosmetics that were sold in the game were for the outside skin of your character.
It's every first-person game's like biggest downfall is spend 3 hours creating this character in Skyrim and never see them again.
Yes. So being able to actually like now have it in third person, I would love to like just replay the original. But
so you can swap back and forth.
Yeah,
in the game. Okay.
And then I think it's also pretty cool that they've like they could have just said, okay, this thing's dead in the water, we're giving up, but they fully went through, redeveloped the entire original game for New Player and New Player Plus, on top of making it third person and releasing a new game content. I think is incredible.
I mean, they probably planned this from the beginning, knowing that Fire and Ash was coming out.
Yeah.
But as it got delayed, they were probably like, "Yes, we have more time.
Yeah.
let's add a third person mode."
Yeah, so I think it's like a good way to get some new interest in it. Plus, I think it would just be kind of interested to see like what type of like what you think of the game
and how it crosses over to the movie and stuff.
Yes, I think that'll be a cool little.
So we'll play the new DLC, I guess, after we get to and it might take a while. We might be streaming that for a while because we're real adults with real jobs. And Brian, I think you have like 5 jobs, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get to it eventually, but hopefully it'll be fun and funny.
And then speaking of games that I get to replay that I want you to experience, and you've already mentioned it earlier, Halo 1 is coming out on the new Unreal Engine software and will be released on PlayStation, which
crazy.
It's
right?
crazy to think about with where consoles wars were and like all this stuff. But I absolutely love the Halo universe. Like, it to me is just a phenomenal place to be in. The TV show did not do it justice.
I heard it was bad.
It was not great.
I heard everyone was upset that they saw Master Chief's bare butt.
Yeah, and his face.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they just saw. You just saw everything of Master Chief.
So that's a big thing in the show is that they don't, or the game, they don't ever show his face.
Yeah,
even now,
you have never seen his face except for I think like if you beat Halo 4 on Legendary. You got a secret cutscene at the end that revealed that he had like blonde hair and blue eyes.
So it's like Mandalorian rules.
Yeah,
with Master Chief. Okay,
yeah.
I know about Halo. I get that it's a big thing, but I love that this remastered version is coming out and playing on a PlayStation will just be like hilariously ironic. Mm-hmm. Ironically, though, I know I said ironic a lot. Xbox is, for those of you who don't know, it's. I'm very much console agnostic. I have a Switch, I have a Steam Deck, I have an Xbox, I have it all. But man, Xbox is kind of on its way down as a developer of hardware, I think. And I think that can be shown in the fact that, I mean, you can look up the numbers, but I think Xbox is the biggest publisher of games on PlayStation right now.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think about.
Well, I think it's one of the things, too, is I think with where technology is coming into gaming, with the Steam box that's coming out?
The Steam machine.
Yeah, Steam
something.
machine.
I don't know.
Like with that thing being released, it essentially makes having an Xbox pointless.
Yeah.
Because if you have a Game Pass for Xbox and you can play your PlayStation games on Steam.
Yeah.
But it also begs the question: why are you buying a PlayStation console?
Well, they still have exclusives, but they'll.
Yeah, but the exclusives get put on Steam like 4 or 5 months later.
It's usually, yeah.
So if you just wait, you can have everything on one.
If you don't need to be part of the conversation when they come out, like, I mean, I don't usually get around to playing a game until way after it's come out either. So like, I just got Ghost of Yotei, and I finished Banishers the other night, and that'll probably be my next one. But that came out like 6 months ago. Yeah. So, but
well, talk about Banishers. Do you want to move into your Banishers?
I do. Should I be playing any of these?
Yeah. So, I guess we could talk about these. So, the Fable trailer dropped this week. We could
something else I've never played before.
Yeah. So I played it on the original Xbox, but it's been so long. I just remember enjoying Fable. I don't remember like anything about it. So we have the Fable trailer here. If you want to
Just play the video,
play it
sound
through
in the
here,
background.
and yeah, we'll see how copywriting works with all this.
Please don't ban us, YouTube. So we'll just have it playing in the background. It looks, I mean, to me, it looks incredible. Like, I'm very excited if this is what ends. It almost seems like grown up, almost like a Disneyland fairy tale.
Yeah,
like a little more grown up.
They said that they made over 1,000 individualized NPCs that you can actually follow all the way like home, and they like live lives in the game.
I wonder how much that's going to be AI, and they just don't want to say it.
Yeah,
because I'm I know a lot of people have arts and AI. They have a lot of problems, and I get that. I understand it, but I'm looking at AI as optimistically as possible. Yes, it could be a Terminator style event where they take over and kill us all, but I'm hoping that AI and robots and humans can get along in the future, like they do with droids and Star Wars. Mm-hmm. But with AI and something like this, I would love it if I have a partner in a game like Ellie in The Last of Us or something, and they just have endless dialogue that's specific to the theme of the game
and what the choices you've made,
and the choices you've made, and it's all just generative AI. And I'm as long as it's within the confines of, and somebody like Lionhead or Naughty Dog could totally figure that out.
Yeah.
So that excites me. Even if it is AI and there's 1,000 characters and they're all void, I don't really care as long as it doesn't come across as sounding like Google Gemini.
Well, and if the AI is just choosing the dialogue and stuff that's been made by the humans that have designed it, I think that's a fair time to use AI. It's not AI's created these characters. It's more so AI's choosing how to live within the confined bubble of that character.
Yeah.
But I think, like, visually, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, the graphics look great. The fighting style is very reminiscent of, like, the far third-person view back from, like, Hogwarts Legacy.
I mean, it looks like Witcher, too.
Yeah, so, like, it's those old-school fantasy games that, like, I grew up loving that I feel like it's really been missing as of late.
Yeah.
And I think this is coming out at a perfect time with whenever it does come out, but, like, within the frequency of the next couple of years that,
Did they announce
I don't know if it's at the end
release
of this
window?
or not.
Oh, they did. It's this year. They said it's coming out this year.
Yeah, but like the fact that it's coming out and like it doesn't have to compete with a Hogwarts Legacy. It's not competing with like another game coming out of its type. Really, that I think it's in a good window spot to be rather successful.
And don't yell at me in the comments. I know it's not Lionhead making this. I know they shut down. It's Playground Games, I think. So I think people are worried about the combat because the Playground people are have only ever made like Forza Horizon, like car racing games. But what I'm looking at here is like pretty cool. So I think they're all, I've watched the majority of this video. I think everyone working at the studio is all big fans of Fable and they want to do it right. But yeah, this looks like Disney meets Witcher.
Yeah. And I really do think too that it's this is a passion project, I think, more than a cash grab.
Yeah.
No one was really screaming, like, when's the next Fable coming out?
Fable.
Like, yeah. It was more of we're sitting and waiting patiently for this, and you announce it when you're ready. And this is normally when games thrive, right? There isn't this mass market.
They don't rush.
Yeah, there's no rush. There was no, like, need to get this done. It was given the money and budget and timing that it needed to actually develop, and it shows that.
Yeah. And nobody really does that nowadays because nobody has the money to do it. But Xbox's whole strategy has been outspending PlayStation for a while, and they did that with the Activision purchase, and they did it with the Bethesda purchase. But
well, and I think
this can cook. I think it looks great.
Yeah. And I think that's one of those things too, is that if you start putting out good games, like, and this kind of goes into my segue. I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. It was, big shock. Everyone's all in love with Arc Raiders. But, my buddy just told me about it at a birthday party. I had no interest in playing it. He told me, no, like, listen to me, it's really good.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed that I think is almost a better strategy for gaming now, like even Fortnite does this, right? The game's free. Arc Raiders is only $40. So you're looking at a cheaper game or a cheaper entry point. You're giving me then the gameplay's good, so I want to stay. Now I'm spending money on the cosmetics, right? I want
Yeah.
my player to look like a cowboy.
I think they
Now,
figured that out with Helldivers. They charge 40 for it, and people bought
yeah.
it.
So you start buying these cheaper games, and you start living in the world to where you care about it more. So you want to look a certain way. So you can either go run quests or unlock certain unlockables that way. But then there's the microtransactions, not to improve the game, but just to improve how I look.
Right.
I think that's truly like how things should be. The only thing I have a problem with that is like when in Destiny, big Destiny player for those of you who are out there, I'm really hoping Destiny 3 will be announced at some point in the next 5 years.
Oh, you think they make a Destiny 3?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking I think it's just starting to be developed this year, but like
they're working on what, Marathon right now?
Yeah, Marathon is getting released in a couple months.
Which is another extraction.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be bolstered by Arc Raiders. I think they're worried because Arc Raiders doing some better stuff than they are in Marathon, but I think they're making adjustments and they're going to ride the coattails. So
yeah. So but yeah, I think like if you can find the thread the needle of having fun cosmetics but like the cooler looking stuff needs to be in the game and be earnable through challenging things to either do individually or with friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I know I personally, for me, this guy just kicked a chicken
across the Is that it? Kicking chickens? Is that a thing with Fable? I didn't know that.
So I think for me, really though, like with Fable, I think it's already like it's a for sure I'm buying, and if it sucks, like okay.
I mean these are easy for me because they all come to Game Pass.
Yeah. So like it's I think this is a no-brainer. Is this coming to PlayStation too? Because
yes, day and date.
So
which is just why. So I've had the old Fables on my Game Pass Play Later list for a while, so I'll probably just delete all those and play this.
Yep.
I started going back through Gears of War and playing the first Gear of War, the remastered edition. But like now I'm just like I can play all the old ones on Xbox Game Pass, or I can just wait until they remaster 2, 3, 4, and 5. So all right.
So, you want to talk about finishers and
because we got to wrap up.
Yep.
Talking forever. They've got to be annoyed with us by now. So,
who? There's no one there.
Sorry, Mom, we're talking too long.
Sorry, Void.
Speaking of Void, the Void is a big part of this game. So I've been playing this game called Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. It's by a studio called Don't Nod, so kind of like the makers of Horizon were used to making first-person shooters, and they transferred over to making a third-person open-world action-adventure. These folks over at Don't Nod, they made the Life is Strange games. I don't know if you know those. They're like not visual novels, but they call them adventure games, like Telltale games, like Walking Dead and stuff. Yeah. And they transferred over to this. I have been interested in the concept of this for a while. I'm not spoiling anything. We're not going to spoil anything. I think a general rule of thumb, I did talk to you about this, but I think a general rule of thumb is if it's in a trailer, we can talk about it.
Yep.
If not, and we know stuff about it, then keep our mouth shut. So we're going to be really, I hate spoilers, so we're going to be really spoiler specific if we ever do talk about spoilers.
We just spoiled our no spoiler concept.
Sorry. Spoilers.
That's our only spoiler you guys will ever get here.
So I played this. The concept is great. Art direction, visually, it's outstanding. Fortunately, I would not suggest playing it. I know you're like, oh, maybe I'll play this. It just hit Game Pass, so maybe if you got Game Pass, check it out. But it was just the game that never ended. Mm-hmm. Like, it would make you backtrack a million times.
Oh, did they have fast travel points?
Very few and far between. Oh, not as much as they should. So I would finish a group of quests in this town, and then I would go to move on to the next town. And like I like Batman Arkham, I like Metroidvania type games, but this took it to an annoying level. You would go to that town and finally make it there, and then 5 more missions would pop up where you just were. Ugh. Or they would make you go across the map to find something, and to bring it back, only to tell you there's something else over there again that you couldn't find because the mission wasn't active.
You spent half your time just sprinting across.
I spent 85 hours on this game, and how long to beat says 50 max, I think, if you're going to do everything. The compass, the map, everything was really annoying. The story was okay. I don't know if this all makes sense, but the theme of the story especially a lot of the side stories, felt very like modern and heavy-handed and almost preachy to a point where it felt like it pulled me out of it at times. Like it pulled me out of the time period I was supposed to be in. So not like an end of the world type situation, but it did get a little kind of hard to focus sometimes. I think they had too many side missions, and then the biggest thing for me is this game ran like absolute dog crap. I played on the Xbox, so it is Unreal 5, and I know a lot of people have been saying with Unreal 5 they have major frame rate issues that only some studios are starting to figure out now. They did not figure it out with this game.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, 1 frame a second stutters to a point where you would traverse from one area into another, and it would just be like and like it was like it felt like something out of like PlayStation 3 era or something like that. Even worse than that.
That's really unfortunate.
But no, like visually the game's amazing. I like the 2 main characters and they're very interesting, but I don't think it's sold very well, so I don't think there'll be another one. But if you've got time to spare, check it out. It's free on Game Pass. But I wouldn't suggest it otherwise, unfortunately, because it was a great concept. So,
well, I highly recommend Arc Raiders.
I know, and so there's millions of other people.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So, I just wanted to give my quick breakdown on Arc Raiders. So, I've been playing this game for roughly 5 days
straight,
and 5 days straight.
You literally finished playing at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
with something this morning.
Yeah,
right?
it was a long run. But my buddy and I, we've been gaming duo buddies for a long time, and this has been a really fun extraction shooter. What I love about it is it took my love and passion for I don't know if you ever played the game Division. It was like
no, but I know
like I loved Division.
I'm not for everyone. I'm not a huge multiplayer fan. I love story-based games and stuff, but Brian will be the multiplayer.
Yeah, have you ever seen the meme? It's Star Wars Rogue One. It's like, you a single player game, a man of you with your talents.
Oh,
it's a quiet life.
yeah, exactly. I like losing myself in a game, which is why I said what I said about Banishers and like not talking to other people. But I do have a few games like Helldivers I'll jump on every once in a while. So.
Yeah, so my main games have been Destiny for like the last like 12 years of my life, and then Fortnite, and with Destiny kind of winding down as an interest level for me, just because the story isn't as intense right now. There's less to do. It definitely feels like it's in that forming phase of getting ready for something else.
Yeah.
I've been looking to sink my teeth into something else, and Arc Raiders has been a lot of fun. It kind of meets the need that I had of what Helldivers is, with a mix of the Division Dark Zone. So there was this area in Division where you could go completely PvE. You could go to all the
like in the middle of New York City or something, right?
Yeah, so you could go to all the areas in New York City all the way around. But essentially right where Central Park was, or like in the middle of the map, there was this thing called the Dark Zone, where whatever you went in there with was at risk of being taken by other characters if they chose to kill you. But the most complicated and hard bosses were in the Dark Zone for you to get the best loot.
Okay.
So you could either team up with other teams and attack these heavier, bigger bosses, and then turn on each other and lose all your loot and then have to kind of start over. Or you could, like what me and my buddy did, we became so overpowered in the game that we just started assisting everyone. And then when like we would
in the Dark Zone?
Yeah, we would be in the Dark Zone. We would like kill things. Be like, go ahead, take the loot. And then people would like turn around and start shooting at us.
Because they expect you to shoot them.
Yeah, so then like, we had such high power shields that it wouldn't do much. So then we would just murder them.
and that's like the whole basis of Arc Raiders, right?
Yeah, so Arc Raiders is the entire thing is now PvE versus PvP mashed all in one space. So depending on how aggressive you are as a player, you start to get matched in those types of situations. So like right now I've been very peaceful. I try to help people, try to like kill all the arcs, because I feel like when you're coming together as a community to try to face those things, it's easier to face it as a whole than it is individually.
And then hope everybody doesn't kill you on the back end.
And then, so, like, probably 1 in every 15 games I've played right now, I'm running into someone that's trying to kill me. But
it's not so bad.
That's not bad. But the problem is these games run 30 minutes. It is the fastest 30 minutes of your life.
Really?
You, you spawn in.
You played until 6
o'clock. Yeah, all of a sudden you just lose all sense of time playing. You're like, oh, okay, that was fast. But yeah, highly recommend Arc Raiders. I think it's awesome. If you're a Helldivers person that's looking for not just PvE and you want that PvP standpoint, it's fun both solo. It has, I think, proximity chat. It's the first game I've played with that being on all the time.
That's fun. I played Sea of Thieves.
And let me tell you, it is the greatest thing to communicate with just a random guy. Like, there was a guy in a bush the other day, and he crawls out of the bush, and he's crawling, he's like dying. He goes, "Can you help me? I have like 20 really important items. I really don't want to." Like, he was like crying, and I was like, "You poor person." And I had enough. I didn't have a defib on me to actually bring him back to life, but I had enough first aid bandages where I was able to patch him up, and I got him all the way to the train just by patching him up.
You know, my esports kids make fun of me that like all of the esports that I manage, I don't play any of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know enough about gaming to run their program and stuff like that, but this is one of those games like Helldivers I think could possibly pull me in, and I would try out just for the proximity. I saw a video of like some guy falling off a cliff, and like you would hear him go until he was out of proximity range.
Then he was gone.
But yeah, hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I'm having a blast. I'm curious, my buddy and I, we're reaching the point of the end. I finished the expeditions. I finished the trophy room, and I did it in 5 days. Now, I'm someone that as soon as you give me a quest, I go out and do it. Like, I don't care if, like, ooh, a butterfly. I'm not going to go over there and do that.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's why it takes me 85 hours to get to a 30-hour game. Because I check everything. I have to do all the question marks as they pop up. Otherwise, I can't move on to the next mission.
I think this game might actually help you then, because it kind of teaches you, because you reach a point where you're like, oh, God, like, there's, like, 97 more containers. I could go look over there, but I'm already pretty full. Like, do I want to lose everything I currently have, or do I just want to come back and hit that room?
I'm very OCD with video games.
Yeah.
So the only time I'm not is when I'm cooperatively playing with someone. Like you, Frontier Ship, where I can ignore the question marks and stuff. So,
but see, in that game, those are the ones you want to do all the side quests, because all the stories are. Yeah. It adds more character development with the character.
I almost ended up in a mental institution when I played The Witcher 3. There's so many there's more question marks in that game. Like, I just treat, like, when I have nightmares, it's all question marks. So, well, cool. I might check that out. Yeah, maybe we could stream a night where we're both playing Arc Raiders.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You could see me miserably try to figure out how to play an online multiplayer game. Yeah. So,
well, the funny part is like you'll either run into people or you don't. And then my favorite part is it feels like a glitch, right? When you're running, each person both stops and your character goes straight stand up. And you either choose to like blink your flashlight to tell them you're friendly, or someone's going to the emote to go, "Hello, Raider." And so you don't know like what someone's going to do, and then someone else might pull out a gun and just start shooting. So it's like
they might say hello.
Yeah, everyone like freezes and goes, "What are you about to do, buddy?" And it truly does hit that level of, it's not like Fortnite where if you die you just load back in. Like, this is, you might lose everything you've just grinded for 3 hours in a 5-second wrong decision. But it's everything wants to kill you. It's not even the people. All the robots that are in there. And so like you're hoping that the people are there to help you. And then hopefully with the other people helping you, you can take out the larger scale robots.
It sounds like fun.
Yeah. So it's like it's honestly a really good
it almost
challenge with society.
It almost looks like they're making the Horizon Zero Dawn MMO.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of looks like that. Like, instead of hunting dinosaurs, you're hunting the harvest or whatever. So.
Yeah, so definitely check out Arc Raiders. I think we had a lot of fun things.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Are we done?
We hit our quota of list of everything. I don't know how long we ran, but
I don't know how long we got a little timer here, don't we? Oh my gosh, 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's okay. It's not a big deal. So we're gonna go as long as we feel like going in the future. I feel like we were kind of rushed this episode a little bit, and we're learning how to do things, and hopefully Brian, with all his techie knowledge, can get the videos we were talking about in here. For those of you that are just listening, hopefully we described everything enough, but we're really, really happy you joined us, and we really hope you continue to join us. We're really excited about doing this, and we think we can come up with some great stuff, great content.
Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas of how you would like the content to be broken down, whether you like these categories or not, we're just trying to fit all of our geeky fandom into different sections so that, we can hit different algorithmic marks on YouTube and TikTok and Spotify. So,
and if you hate it, you just want us to shut up and quit. Yeah. Tell us that too. We probably won't listen.
Just don't tell me to go home. I'm already here.
Yeah. Let's just kick him off into the bathroom. Yeah. He has Brian for those of you who don't know or already follow him on TikTok, he decorates the crap out of his house for Halloween and stuff like that. And I went to use the restroom over here, and he's got the Haunted Mansion guy with the caretaker, like staring at me through the other door of his Jack and Jill bathroom, and I almost peed my pants, which was ironic since I was in the bathroom. But we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Hopefully next week.
Yeah.
All right. See you soon.
Thanks guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.